Hello, and welcome to the Neighborhood Strong Initiative. I'm Darrell Green, Chief of Police, and one of the greatest joys as serving as your police chief is having the opportunity to visit our vibrant communities and hear from our residents. I have spoken with elders who shared stories of their history and changes in their neighborhoods. My conversations with smart and driven young people across the city have made me confident that our future is in great hands. I have met with neighborhood group leaders who know all their neighbors and have ideas for how to make their communities grow stronger. I've learned so much about how neighbors care for and support one another while making Lansing neighborhoods stronger. My resolve has never been stronger than it is today. This past year has tested us in unprecedented ways. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant economic downturn has exacerbated violence, and we have experienced an unacceptable increase in shootings since the pandemic began. We must act now to reverse this trend. Lives are literally on the line. As our city grapples with these dual public health crises, we must come together and unite around the shared goal of making our neighborhoods stronger. Together, I believe that we can achieve real community health and safety that affords everyone the opportunity to thrive. City governments exist to serve as residents, and we must earn residents' trust by working with them to identify their needs and priorities, and then meeting those through concrete investments. The Neighborhood Strong Initiative seeks to prioritize regaining the trust of our communities through transparency, cultural competency, positive interactions, and open dialogue. We will support those who are impacted by violence and trauma, but also address the root causes of violence to prevent it from happening in the first place. We will implement meaningful police reforms that benefit officers and the communities they serve, and we will continue to engage stakeholders and residents across the city to join us in our efforts. We all know that Lansing deserves the best from its government and community. We must collectively recognize the strength, resilience, and beauty that our communities hold, and that I have experienced firsthand. My hope through our work is to continue to illuminate this truth so that we can make Lansing a city of thriving, safe neighborhoods where every person is secure and able to maximize their full potential. Thank you for supporting our Neighborhood Strong Initiative, and thank you, City of Lansing, for all that you do to make us a better city. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Rob Backus. I'm a captain of the Lansing Police Department, and I'm assigned to our investigations division. When the FBI reports about crimes for cities, they typically refer to Type 1 crimes. Type 1 crimes include homicide, felony assaults, sexual assaults, arson, burglary, theft, robbery, and auto theft. In 2019, the City of Lansing saw an overall decrease in Type 1 crimes of 5.2%. This was represented by decreases in sexual assaults, robberies, burglaries, larcenies, and motor vehicle thefts. So far in 2020, we have seen a roughly 7% increase in Type 1 crimes. This has primarily been seen in our non-fatal shootings and our motor vehicle thefts. This is also representative of our roughly 23% increase in calls for service to our department. For policing purposes, the city is broken up into 4 sectors. Sector 1 occupies the northwest side of the city. Sector 2 is the northeast side of the city. Sector 3 is the southwest side of the city, and Sector 4 is the southeast side of the city. In all 4 of our sectors, our most common crime is larcenies. Larcenies can be prevented by such simple precautions as locking your cars, your houses, your businesses, as well as not leaving items of value in plain view. For all of these instances, when neighbors see suspicious behaviors, they should contact the police so that we can respond and take appropriate action.
Hello, my name is Ryan Smith. I'm a detective with the Lansing Police Department. I've been at the Lansing Police Department for approximately 13 years now, and I've been a detective for a little bit over a year. My current role in the Detective Bureau is motor vehicle theft investigator. And what I do is I investigate anytime a car is stolen, anytime a car is carjacked, basically any type of crimes that involve stolen vehicles. My position is grant funded by what's called the ATPA, that's ran by the Michigan State Police. What the ATPA stands for is the Auto Theft Prevention Authority. And it's a partnership between law enforcement agencies all across the state, insurance companies, and some prosecutor offices as well. And what we do is we pool our resources, we communicate with one another, and we help each other out with investigating motor vehicle thefts.
How are vehicles commonly stolen in Lansing?
The most common way that vehicles are stolen in the city of Lansing is people leaving their keys inside of them. Often that happens accidentally, whether you are carrying groceries or taking your kid from the car and you accidentally leave your keys. But that is the most common way that vehicles are stolen in their city. To go along with that is a lot of times those vehicles are also unlocked. We don't see a lot of people actually breaking into cars, whether it be with a Slim Jim or breaking the glass. We have a problem of people walking around, checking door handles, and your car happens to be unlocked, and that just happens to be the day that you left your key in there, or some people do store spare keys inside their vehicles. Another common way that vehicles are stolen in our city is people leaving them running. So whether that's you're running to the grocery store real quick, or you're running into the pizza shop to pick up a pizza, and somebody's walking by, they see an opportunity that your car is running, they run in there and they grab it. And the third kind of stolen vehicles that we deal with in Lansing is, hey, you let your friend borrow your car, 3 days later, he hasn't called you and he hasn't brought your car back. That's what we call joyriding. So those are the three most common types of stolen vehicles that we have in our city.
Is it true that I can legally leave my car running to go into a store or to warm it up in the morning?
Yes, you can legally leave your vehicle running. However, our recommendation is that you lock your doors if possible. Whether that is you have a spare key or you take the key fob off your car key, try to lock your door if you're going to leave your car running. You can legally do it, especially in the winter months. I know, a lot of folks don't have garages, or you live in an apartment and you want to warm up your car. That's fine, but I highly recommend that if you leave your car running for whatever reason, please lock the door and have a spare key with you. Again, the most common way people steal cars is through unlocked doors. So if somebody sees a car running, they walk up and the door's locked, chances are they're probably going to walk away. Another thing that you can do is if you are going to warm your car up in the morning, try to keep an eye on it. So if you're in your kitchen making coffee, keep looking outside, make sure there's nobody loitering around your vehicle, make sure that nothing looks suspicious.
How are stolen vehicles typically found?
When your vehicle is stolen, it gets entered into a couple different computer databases, one of which is called LEAN, which stands for the Law Enforcement Information Network. What that does is any police officer across the entire nation, if they run your license plate or your VIN number on your car, your vehicle is going to show up as stolen. Another thing that we do at the Lansing Police Department is we have what's called a hot sheet. Essentially, it's a piece of paper that gets distributed to our officers several times a day, and it allows them to quickly see recently stolen vehicles in the city. We also send that out to the Eaton County Sheriff's Department and the Ingham County Sheriff's Department as well. So several agencies do have access to our hot sheet. Currently, we are actually updating it, so it will show a map where stolen vehicles are being located for our officers. What that means is generally when stolen vehicles kind of cluster in areas where people drop them off, and this is going to be a quick reference point for our officers to see, hey, several vehicles are being dumped over here, and several vehicles being dumped over here recently, and it's just a really quick, easy way for them to know where to go to look for these. We do have officers that actively look for stolen cars. Again, they utilize our hot sheet very often. Another way that stolen vehicles are located is abandoned vehicle calls. So if you see a suspicious vehicle on your street, it's been parked there for a couple days, the window's rolled down or the window's busted out, it doesn't belong to any of your neighbors, feel free to give us a call. We'll come over there and we'll check, number one, to see if that vehicle's stolen and also to see if it's legally parked. A third way that vehicles are often recovered is if a vehicle's abandoned at a private, whether it's a parking lot or a private business, those people will call in a tow service to have the vehicle towed off their parking lot. We communicate regularly with the tow companies, and so every vehicle that they tow in the city, they'll let us know. It can be sometimes a day or two delay, and then we'll find out, hey, they had towed a stolen vehicle. We'll go to the tow yards, and then we'll recover it that way.
If my vehicle is found in Lansing, what does LPD do to try and identify those responsible for taking it?
Typically, when we recover stolen vehicles, they're generally unoccupied. What that means is we have to do several different things to try to find out who was in the vehicle, one of which is fingerprints. We try to take fingerprints in vehicles. We'll try to locate video in the area that the vehicle is left in to see if we can find anybody on camera. And we also talk to witnesses. So for instance, if a vehicle is left on the street, somebody calls it in, we'll go talk to that person and see, hey, did you see who was driving this car? How long has it been here? And so on and so forth. The issue with finding out who was driving the vehicle is it can still be difficult to prosecute people for stolen vehicles. When you're dealing with stolen cars, you generally have three types of crimes. You have the motor vehicle theft itself, you have possession of a stolen motor vehicle, or you have unlawful use of a motor vehicle, otherwise known as joyriding. When we try to prosecute these cases, when we try to bring charges against people for these cases, the Ames County Prosecutor's Office decides what to charge somebody with. When you're talking about motor vehicle theft, you have to prove that that person actually stole your car. When you're talking about possession of a stolen vehicle, you have to prove that that person knew the car was stolen. And for joyriding, it essentially is someone was driving your car without your permission. Typically, you know that person. So when we talk about the challenges of bringing prosecution to these people, it can be difficult off fingerprints alone. We can say, hey, so-and-so may have touched the car, but we can't necessarily prove that they stole it, or we can't necessarily prove that they knew that it was stolen. So we have several different ways to collect evidence. Again, we have fingerprints, we have video, we have interviews, we have witnesses. We do have a lot of tools at our disposal to try to bring charges against individuals.
Do I need a separate report for my insurance if my vehicle is found and has been damaged?
When your vehicle is recovered, we add a supplemental report to your original police report that you had filed. For instance, if your car is damaged or you're missing any items, we'll add that to the report. Typically, if you or your insurance company has already received a copy of your original police report and then your vehicle is located, you will need to obtain an additional copy, or your insurance company will need to obtain an additional copy so we can add any type of damage or missing items that you notice in your vehicle.
Has there been an increase in vehicles being stolen since the coronavirus pandemic has started? And have other cities experienced any of these changes as well?
Yes, the coronavirus pandemic and the subsequent lockdown has resulted in an increase in stolen motor vehicles in the city of Lansing. This is not unique, and it's actually occurred all throughout our country. In the months of March and April, New York City saw a 53% increase of their stolen vehicles, and Seattle saw a 24% increase during that same time. The coronavirus pandemic, and again the subsequent lockdown, has really kind of created the perfect storm for stolen vehicles. A majority of our offenders who steal cars are juveniles, and during that time they were not in school. More people are either not working or they're working from home, which has led to an increase of vehicles being left at their house. And also, if you live in an apartment complex or somewhere without a garage, you might not leave your house for 3 or 4 days. If your vehicle is stolen during that time, that creates a backlog for us then to try to catch up to your car 3 or 4 days later. So there's been a lot of adverse effects from the coronavirus, which has impacted motor vehicle thefts. Another big problem with it right now is due to the coronavirus, jails and juvenile detention facilities are not lodging as many people. So we have, in several instances, arrested folks. However, they're unable to be housed due to the ongoing pandemic. The coronavirus has created many challenges. However, you can help us by doing the tips that we talked about earlier. Please lock your doors. Try not to leave your keys in the car. I understand it happens as an accident, but spare keys, take those things out. They don't do much good if you lock yourself out of your car anyway. Report any suspicious activity. If you guys see anything suspicious at night, people walking around checking door handles, if you notice it on your doorbell camera or any cameras that you have at your house, please call 911. Our officers can get out there, they can check the area, and they can help keep you and your neighborhood safe. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Anthony Vandervoorde. I'm the Community Service Officer here at Lansing Police Department. I'd like to take a few minutes to tell everyone about a few programs that we have going on here at the Lansing Police Department. The first is our partnership with the Neighbors app. This is an app that can be uploaded in the App Store through any smartphone. This app is another tool that allows the Lansing Police Department to connect with residents and improve the safety of our community. Neighbors allows the user to anonymously upload videos, pictures, and even comments about crimes and other safety-related incidences within our community. Another app that I would like to mention is our Lansing PD app. This is also usable on all smartphone devices. This app allows users to report crimes and tips, look up crime mapping in their areas, report and upload photos of graffiti, and other links and information for Lansing PD and the City of Lansing. A third program that we have going on is our SCRAM program. This allows the resident to register their cameras with the Lansing Police Department. This doesn't give us access to your cameras, but what it does is it allows us a tool for investigations to be able to contact you to see if you have any video of an incident that we're trying to investigate at the time. I also want to tell you about a special event that we have going on here at Lansing Police Department. On October 31st here at our Operations Center at 5815 Wise Road, Lansing Police Department and the Lansing Fire Department will be hosting a trunk or treat drive-through event here for all kids in the Lansing community. This will take place again on Saturday, October 31st from 3 to 6 p.m. I would like to personally thank all of you that have taken the time to watch this Neighborhood Strong Initiative video, and know that through communication, knowledge of what is happening in the Lansing community, that we are becoming neighborhood strong. If you have any questions pertaining to the content you saw here, please email me at lpd.csu@lansingmi.gov. Thank you again and have a safe day.